Hello my wonderful friends, and welcome back to a brand new video. This is Gem's Car Chats, where I'm going to be taking a disability related topic. I'm going to be breaking it down and making it really simple so that we can all understand, and we can also then share this video out to non-disabled people, squash some misconceptions as well. Obviously there's a huge debate going on at the moment about the changes to disability welfare benefits. I'm going to be breaking down what those changes are going to be, and I'm going to be making it really simple. I'm not an expert. I am dyslexic and I do have a hard time comprehending things, and I feel like if I'm having a hard time comprehending things, then there's probably thousands of other people out there who are struggling. But hopefully this video will make sure we've got all of the facts. In this video I'm going to be breaking down what PIP or personal independence payment actually is. I'm going to be talking about what is potentially going to be changing, when it may potentially change, what we can do to make our voices be heard, what I think really needs to be looked at first, and I'm going to be talking about if there are any positives in all of this show. If that sounds like good stuff to you, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more videos like this. Last month, the government published a green paper and consultation about disability benefits. This green paper is called The Pathway to Work, Get Britain Working. The government say they want to save 5 billion a year by 2030 because welfare spending just keeps rising. They want to get people back to work, but is by slashing health and disability benefits the answer? And I'm going to be discussing this in a lot more detail, so keep watching. I didn't know what a green paper is. Obviously I know what green paper is. It's paper that's green. But what is a green paper when it comes to the government? It's not a final decision. It's a way for the government to explore options and get people's views. However, included in the green paper is universal credit and employment support allowance. What is not included in the green paper is PIP and work capacity assessment, and that's going to be quite important later on, so keep watching. PIP is personal independence payments, and these are for disabled and chronically ill people. This is not a means tested benefit. This means that you don't have to work or you can work, and it doesn't matter how much you earn, and it's not taxable. PIP has two elements. It has the daily living allowance or care component, I think, and then it has the mobility component. Some people may just qualify for the mobility component, and some people may just qualify for the care component. Some people may qualify for both components. What's really important to know at this stage is that the mobility component of PIP is not going to be affected. What is going to change is the daily living component. So the daily living component can help with things like paying for a carer, help with getting therapies that aren't covered on the NHS. It can help with maybe a cleaner because you can't physically clean your house. Being disabled costs a lot more than being non-disabled. Being disabled costs on average £1,000 extra a month just to pay for things because you are disabled. I'm talking about mobility aids, wheelchairs. My wheelchair was nearly £6,000. This is a lifelong condition I have. This isn't going to change. I have to spend a lot more on heating and gas and electricity because I can't get cold, and I have to pay for therapies that aren't funded on the NHS myself just to keep my body healthy and working. That keeps me away from the NHS and enables me to work and pay my taxes. It's very important for me to note here that yes, I pay and I do pay my taxes. However, if you don't work and you're not paying taxes, you are still valid, you're still seen, and you still matter. PIP is not a luxury. PIP helps with those extra costs, but it is a lifeline. So with regards to PIP, they're going to be changing the eligibility criteria and going to be making it a lot harder, even harder than it already is. I mean, is that even possible? For the daily living component. And this is despite the fact that PIP has effectively 0% fraud rate. Even genuine disabled people who are struggling struggle to get PIP. How they're going to make this even harder, it's really, really worrying. So at the moment, to qualify for any part of the daily living component, you have a point scoring system. Say for example, they have 10 activities. At the moment, you have to score at least 8 points across all categories in your level of difficulty. So you could score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because they're just moderately difficult for you. That will enable you to have some form of daily living component. However, it's going to change. You have to score 8 across those activities, but at least one of those activities has to be a 4 in terms of level of difficulty. That is going to push a lot of people out of that benefit. It could affect around 800,000 people, and of those 800,000 people, they could be £4,500 worse off each year. And if they need that help, where are they going to get it from? They're going to be looking at other services that are already stretched thin, such as the NHS. We still don't know an awful lot. The government are yet to publish their impact statement. PIP and the work capacity assessment are not going to be in the green paper. They're going to have to be discussed in Parliament, and they are going to have to get their policies overturned by law. And this is really worrying, because the government needs to hear from genuine disabled people who are living on the front line, as it were, to hear our voices, to hear how it actually impacts us. You may be worried as to when these changes may happen, and they're not looking to change until 2026/2027. They'll be looking to change around November time 2026, and from then on. I'm very much the type of person that until the letter comes on the door, I'm trying not to worry about it. I'm trying to use my voice to speak up, to make change. Hopefully we can get something changed for the better, but that's just my coping mechanism. Whether it's the right one or not, I don't know. I completely understand that spending is just going up and up and up, and somewhere, somehow, something needs to be done. But I think the way that they're going about it, hitting the hardest, most vulnerable people in society, is not the right way. If you do want to get people back into work, and yes, there are a lot of disabled people, a lot of chronically ill people, a lot of people with mental health problems who do want to get back into work, but we can't go to work. Why can't we go to work? I'll tell you why. If you go on any job site, most of those jobs, they're not even going to be accessible. Physically getting into the building, they're not going to be accessible.
I was on the government's job site yesterday to find a job. Well, yesterday there were only 137 full-time remote jobs with an employer that consider themselves to be disability confident. So that's the government scheme. So let's just do the maths. 137 fully remote jobs, which, by the way, some of them weren't. They were like, you've got to come in the office once a week. You must be able to drive and do this and this. But then when you click to see how many are part-time, it went down to 8 in the whole country. The issue here isn't that disabled people are lazy. The issue here isn't that disabled people don't want to work or can't work. Many do and can. The issue is there aren't meaningful jobs available.
Second of all, how are you going to get to work? Our public transport system is in complete crisis. We can't get the tube. They're not accessible. They're not reliable. I've heard of people who've had to get off at a stop, find out that the lift isn't working. They have to get back on the tube, back to another stop, to go up, to get a taxi back. And you're disabled or you have a chronic illness. That's going to take a huge amount of energy, and you haven't even got to work yet. Are you kidding me? Then we've got Uber drivers who are refusing to take disabled people in their wheelchairs because it's too much like hard work, or taxis just seeing us in our wheelchairs and driving off, and we still haven't even got to work yet. We hear of people being left on trains because the assistants to put down the ramps haven't turned up. All you've got to do is put down a ramp. It's not rocket science. So that definitely needs to be sorted out first. Then we need to educate employers on actually how good disabled people can be for your business, and educate them on the accommodations that we need and how we just need to level the playing field. You may know that I worked for Marks and Spencer for 12 years. 12 years I gave them loyal service, and throughout that time they made it more and more and more difficult for me to work there because of their ever-changing policies. And in the end, I was almost constructively dismissed because they made it harder and harder. They took away my job in the office, they put me on the shop floor, and it wasn't accessible. So I had no choice but to leave. There also needs to be better help for people who are struggling with mental health. That is in complete crisis. We also need better help and better access for mobility aids. We have access to work. That's also in crisis. There's about a 9-month waiting list, and something like, is it 60,000 people on the wait list just to be even considered? Honestly, words fail me. With all of this said, are there any positives in this? I'm not so sure that there are. However, I have heard that there may be a slight reform or a look at how PIP is assessed. That definitely needs to change because that is so unfair and so broken. I have heard that people who get the highest levels of PIP and who have non-changing disabilities, they may have one assessment for PIP and then they may never have to be reassessed again. Spinal cord injury, for example, that's not going to change. If anything, it could get worse. But if we're already on the highest rate, then we should be awarded it indefinitely. And that will then also free up a lot of time and space to help with other applicants. If you are struggling, then do head over to Scope's website. They have a lot of information on there. If you can, speak to your MP, send them a letter about the worries that you have and the concerns that you have. We really, really need to get as many voices heard as we possibly can. I think there is a referral form on Scope. I've done it. It took me like 2 seconds to do. It was really, really easy to contact my MP. And if you're not disabled, please contact your MP because we are really worried and we are really struggling here. Also, follow this amazing Instagram page, Crips Against Cuts. They are talking about when there are going to be protests. There are ways that you can get involved. They also have some really useful information on there as well. Follow my Instagram as I'll be breaking down this video into simple squares so you can save them, share them and keep them for yourself. Make sure you sign Scope's petition, and again, please feel free to share this video. Do let me know how you're feeling. What do you think needs to change? Something has to change, I get that, but how can it be changed for the better? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful. Make sure to give a thumbs up, subscribe for more videos like this, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one. Bye!